Hi everyone, it's Bernard here with the latest Citizen vlog, and this is a little special. It's almost New Year if you're watching this, so this is just a little Manchester City quiz, just a little bit of fun. 20 questions, a massive 71 points up for grabs. So let's see how many you can get. I'll tell you as we're going through later. I'll tell you how many I can score as well. See if I can do very well with it as well. So that'll be interesting to see how many I would have got if I came into this. I'll be honest, I won't lie, without being prepped, etc., etc. Anyway, if you like these sort of things, please, this is City Pass. So we do City Presents as well, which I keep up to date on all the City games. Please push the subscribe button. That'd be great. Tell your friends about it. You know, subscribers are growing slowly as we go on. So please, if you like what I put out there, please subscribe, tell your friends, and push the bell notification so you know when these Manchester City vlogs are coming out, past and present. And obviously into movies and board games and posters. I also do vlogs on movies, etc. So please check the comments below and all the links to my various sites. Anyway, it's a quiz today. This is a Man City quiz. It's a history thing. It's City Pass, so it's going to be a mixture of time from old to new. So, you know, have a guess. If you don't know, I mean, you might, you know, if you don't know questions, obviously listen to the end. You'll learn things as well, perhaps about City, and let me know in the comments below what you score at the end of this. Anyway, let's get on with it. A lot of questions, a lot of questions to ask, a lot of points up for grabs. Right, question one. Start this off. You can do this, you know, I'm going to leave a bit of time for you to come up with an answer, or you can pause the vlog as well. You can pause this and take your time and have a think about it, but I'll do it on the basis that you've got the time scale that I'm going to give you, and then obviously you can mess around with that yourself and pause the video if something's on the edge of your tongue and you can't quite remember it. But no point in going and looking on Google and stuff, though, is it? It's just a bit of fun. So let's see how many you can get without cheating. Right, the first guy, we're going to have a look at this guy. Obviously, the wonderful Vincent Kompany. The first part of the question on Mr. Vincent Kompany. What year was he born? I'll give you half a point if you're a year out either way. What year did he sign for City? And he also had 2 previous clubs before he joined City. Can you name the 2 clubs? So what year was he born? What year did he sign for City? And which were his 2 previous clubs? Four points up for grabs there. A little pad so now I can make a note of what I get after with you when I go through the answers. Question 2. City 10, Huddersfield 1. You'll remember that scoreline. Can you tell me again what year did that happen? City 10, Huddersfield 1. What year? I'll give you half a point again if you're a year out either way. What year did that happen? What was the crowd that day? I was there. It's not one of these trick questions, York City away, is it? But no, I was in the crowd that day. What was the crowd? Was it 18,583, 19,583, or 20,583? So few to witness such a historic day, wasn't it? And which 3 players scored the hat-tricks? And which player scored the odd goal? So in the 10. So which 3 players scored the hat-trick? Who scored the odd goal? What was the crowd? 18,583, 19,583, or 20,583? And what year did this happen? So potential 6 points there up for you. Players' names. You don't have to have the first name as long as you've got the surnames. And you've got a chance of 1 from 3 with the crowd size, haven't you? Right, question 3. Going to May 2004. So program here. Can you name the player? And the second part of the question, this is May 2004. Who was the City manager in May 2004? Another visual one. Can you name that player? And finally, another one. Can you name this player? So it's a sort of player image one. That who's that? Which player is that? Who was manager of Manchester City in 2004? Who's that young man there? And who's that there? Yeah. 4 points up for grabs. Going back 15 years there, nearly 16 years, near enough now, isn't it? Right. Back to 1903, 1904. You should know this if you're a City fan. City won the FA Cup. But who did they beat in the FA Cup final and by what score in 1903, 1904 season? That's the first part of the question. Who did they play and who did they beat in the 1904 3-4 FA Cup final? Where was the game played? And that season, where did City finish in Division 1? So who did they beat to win the FA Cup in May 1904? And by what score? Where was the game played? And where did City finish in the old First Division back in 1903, 1904? Right, I'll take you forward 70 years now from then. So we're talking September 1974. Another visual one. Can you name that player? Very famous Manchester City player. Can you name him? And in September 1974, who was the City manager? And who's that player? So 2 points up for grabs. Who's the player and who was the City manager in 1974? Not visuals today, so if you're just listening to this, you're gonna have to, I do. That's why I put it on YouTube. I have a lot of these visuals with the program ones as well, with the City past, obviously. Right, question 6. May 1999, obviously, was quite a significant time for us. The MEN did a special, actually, showdown where we target the playoff final, so we hadn't won by then. But there's a special by the MEN, and they featured 2 players on the cover of the special. Can you name both players? So we'll go forward to 1999 now. So which 2 players? And also, obviously, we know Joe Royle was the manager, but who was the head coach in 1999? Who was City's head coach? Who was Joe Royle's assistant? Easy to forget, those sort of things. Question 7. Name this guy. Who's that? All easy ones, these, aren't they? For all you City fans. What year did he make his debut for City? And how many league appearances did he make for City? Was it, I'll give you a chance here, 1 out of 3, 476, 486, or 496? So who's this? When did he make his City debut? What year did he make his full first team debut? And how many league appearances? 476, 486, or 496? Next one, we go forward to 2010. And there was a little program here with this gentleman on the front, but he certainly wasn't from 2010. What can you name the player? There's a significance of why he was on the front of this program. Name the player. This player made 38 appearances for City between 78 and 81. Can you tell me how many goals he scored? If you want either way again, I'll give you half a point, but how many goals did he score in 38 appearances? What's the player's name? The surname will do. You don't have to know his first name. And in 1981, he starred in a very famous film with another former City player. 1981. Can you name the film? And who did he star with? Which other City player starred in it? So there's a potential 4 points. Player's name. How many goals did he score in his 38 appearances? And what film did he star in alongside another City player? And what was his name? All right, we go back to 1969. Remember this one? We all know, I'm not going to ask you the easy question. We all know we beat Leicester 1-0. But to reach the final, who do we beat in the semi-final? Which team do we beat? What score do we beat them by? Who scored the goal in the semi-final, not the final? Who do we play? What score do we beat them by? And who scored the goals? At Wembley, 1969, who was the royal guest? Who was the royal guest at this cup final? 1969. And also for Leicester City, who was the become very famous goalkeeper who played for Leicester City that day? So who did City beat in the semi-final? By what score? And who scored the goals for City? Which royal guest was at the cup final? And which famous goalkeeper played for Leicester City? A little bit of time there. 5 points up for grabs on that one. Challenge for you adding it up at the end, isn't it, as well, if you get a lot of these questions right. Right, we're going to November 2014, so only just over 5 years ago. Can you name the player? November 2014, who was City's manager? How many goals did this player score for City? And which club did he leave City to go back to? So who's the player? How many goals did he score? I'll give you half a point if you want out either way again. Which club did he move back to? And who was the City manager when this was done, November 2014? Easy, aren't they? But you'll get this 71 points, no problem. Right, over halfway. Question 11. In May 1956, City beat Birmingham in the FA Cup final 3-1. They also featured the previous year in 1955 in the FA Cup final, but they lost 3-1 in that year, the year before. Who did they play? Who beat City in 1955 FA Cup final? And who scored City's only goal in the 3-1 defeat? So who do we play in the 1955 FA Cup final? And who scored City's only goal? A gentleman I have met and talked to many times, many years ago. Question 12. Don't forget, you can pause this if you're still thinking on things and stuff. You don't have to do it to time. Main Road. It had a nickname when it was first built because of its high capacity. What was it called? What was it nicknamed in 1923 when it was first built? When that feels its last game, when the last game was played at Main Road, what was the estimated capacity at Main Road? Or do you think how big it was when initially, and the biggest crowd was 84,569? We got in there in the 1930s. What was its final estimated capacity? Obviously, with segregation, it would have been different. Was it 35,150, 36,150, or 37,150? So which of those three? 35,150, 36,150, 37,150. What was its maximum capacity when it was the final season at Main Road? And which ground did we leave to go to Main Road? So when we first moved to Main Road in 1923, what was the name of the ground we left? So there's 3 points up for grab. What was the nickname of Main Road? What was its capacity? 35 150, 36 150, 37 150. And which ground did we leave to go to Main Road in 1923? Question 13, I'm looking for some. The Manchester City Social Club was quite a big part of City's past, very successful. But which famous ex-player managed the club during its heyday for almost 25 years? Well, not 125. I'm thinking of the something else, aren't I? So, which famous ex-player managed the Manchester City Social Club for almost 25 years during its pretty much its heyday of being of popularity? Which former City player? Just a point for that one. Right, next one, a little bit visual. I just need the year. Obviously, the programme celebrates Kippax last stand. So what season was the standing Kippax last hurrah before it was rebuilt and turned to seat? So what season was that? And in that season, you might be able to tell from the shirts, who's the City manager that season? And the last game of the season, which is this is the thingy of. I hope you haven't seen who it was. Who did we play and what was the score? So you might have seen that, but you might not have done. It's probably very small. Hopefully you didn't see it. You didn't cheat. Don't look back and cheat. So what year was the last season of the standing Kippax? Who was the manager? And who did we play that day for our last game in front of the standing Kippax? And what was the score? So potential for 4 points up for grabs there. So we're going back in time again, and another FA Cup final we lost in 1933. Again, we did return the year after to win it. But who did we beat the following year? So we lost the FA Cup final in 33, but we went back in 34. So who did we play and who did we beat and by what score? So 2 points, the team, and what was the score we won by? 1934 FA Cup final. Question 16. Don't forget you can pause this if I'm going too fast. Name the player in the foreground, obviously with the old brother kit on. This is January 1991. Can you name me who was the City manager in January 1991? It's always worth a guess, isn't it? And of course, we have the wonderful Clive Allen playing for us, 1991. When he left us, where did he go? And who did he join us from? So which team did Clive Allen join City from? And who did he go to when he left us? So name the player. Who was the manager in January 1991? And Clive Allen, which club did he join us from? And which club did he return to? Well, go to, didn't return to. Which club did he go to after he left City? 4 points up for grabs again there. Question 17. In 1970, City did the first ever European and English domestic cup double. Which 2 cups did they win? And they were both by the same scoreline, the finals of those cup competitions. What was that scoreline? So which 2 cups was it in 1970? And what was the scoreline in both finals of those competitions? So give you 3 points. So 1 each for the cups and 1 for the scoreline. Question 18. To March 1985. City in Canon League Division 2. So March 85, who was City's manager? March 1985, Cannon League Division 2. And for another 2 points, we had a couple of brothers playing for us on City's books in 1985. And they're both pictured there with the mum and dad. Can you give me both names of the brothers? 3 points up for grabs. Who's the manager in 1985? March 1985 for City. And which 2 brothers are featured there with the mum and dad? Question 19. So nearly there now. It's a bit about the Etihad. As we know, it was for the Commonwealth Games originally. What capacity did it hold for the Commonwealth Games? Approximately. I'll give you 1,000 either way, so you'll get a point if you get 1,000 either way. What was the capacity for the Commonwealth Games? How much did it cost to build initially, before it was obviously turned over into a football ground? So how much was it originally cost? Was it 92 million, 102 million, 112 million, or 122 million? So how much did it cost overall? Obviously, the council shared some of that. Sport England shared some of that cost. The council shared some of the costs, and obviously they started to recoup the cost from City as well on a rental agreement. So was it 92 million, 102 million, 112 million, or 122 million? You won't get a stand now for that, would you? That's all of these new grounds. When it was converted to a football stadium, what was the capacity increased to? So from the initial capacity, what was its initial capacity? Obviously allowing for segregation, but what was the approximate capacity of the Etihad Stadium when it was converted to a football stadium? And the last question about the Etihad, there was a very famous sculpture that was dismantled in 2009 eventually, but what was the name of the sculpture that used to sit at the Mary D's end of the ground, the south stand end? What was that name of the big spiky sculpture that was dismantled in 2009? So what was the capacity for the Commonwealth Games Stadium? How much did it cost? 92, 102, 112, 122 million. When was it? What was the capacity? Was converted to a football stadium? And what was the sculpture called? So 4 points up for grabs there. Question 19. And question 20 to finish off. 7 points up for grabs here. And you don't have to give me dates, but you have to give me names on this one. In the 80s, so from January the 1st, 80 to December the 31st, 1989, City had 7 managers in that time. How many of them can you name? If you can name all 7, you'll get 7 points. So between 1st of January 1980 and the 31st of December 1989, City had 7 managers, varying lengths of time. I'm not going to ask you for that as well. I'll give you that at the end anyway. But how many of those can you name? The 7 managers. You might have to pause this now before you do that. I mean, so give you the benefit of the doubt. You might have to pause that one to get that one right. Well, that's all the questions. So should we do the answers? See, and even if you didn't know the answer, you'll learn something today, won't we? And just say, let me know what you score anyway. I'll jot down what I think I would have got if I'd done this cold without seeing the questions. I'll try and be as honest as I can. I do these for the movie. I do a movie quiz as well on my film blog, so I've sort of got used to doing this and having a judgment on whether I would have known or not. So there we go. Right, question 1. This is the answers. Of course, it was all about Mr. Vincent Kompany. What year was he born? Well, he was born in 1986. So give yourself a point for that. Give yourself half a point if you said 85 or 87. What year did he sign for City? 2008. You have to spot him. I'm not giving you half a point for being close. 2008, you get a point. And his 2 previous clubs, of course, were Anderlecht, who's obviously gone back to now. And is it Hamburg or Hamburger? I'm not too sure how you pronounce it. I mean, I think it's actually written as Hamburger, but we know it better as Hamburg. So 4 points up for grabs there. How many would I have got? I would have probably got 3. So I'm going to stick that 3 down for myself on that one. 3 out of 4. I wouldn't have got all 4 of those. I wouldn't have. I would have probably might have got half for his birthday, but I knew that it's the birthday I would have struggled on, to be honest with you. So I'll just even say I didn't get any points. Right, question 2. City 10, Huddersfield 1. Of course, it was 1987. So give yourself half a point if you said 86 or 88. 1987. The crowd, which I was in, with one of my children, I can't remember which one, to be honest with you now. 1987, probably my eldest daughter in 1987. My son was too young then to be going to that one, I think. Yeah, the crowd was 19,583, so it's the middle one. Yeah, so it was a miserable day. I don't remember that. Horrible weather, but I was there. Which 3 players scored the hat-tricks? Of course, it was Paul Stewart, Tony Adcock, David White, and obviously Neil McNabb scored the odd one out of the 10. So 6 points up for grabs there. How many would I have got? I'll give myself 5. I probably may have forgot one of the. I may have forgot Neil McNabb, to be honest with you. I may have forgot that. So I'll just give myself 5 out of 6. Question 3. And obviously the player, you're talking Nicholas Anelka. The manager, May 2004, was of course Kevin Keegan. The next player is obviously Michael Tarnett. Michael Tarnett. And of course, we've got Mr. Danny Tiatto. Tiatto. So 4 points up for grabs. How many other I got? I'll stick with 3 again. I might have got one of the Kevin Keegan or the Tarnett wrong, but I would have guessed it Kevin Keegan, May 2004. Right, 1903, 1904, City won the FA Cup. They beat Bolton Wanderers by 1-0, and it was played at the Crystal Palace. And in the league, we missed out. We nearly did a rare cup and league double. We actually finished second to the Wednesday, they were called then. The Wednesday, not Sheffield Wednesday, just the Wednesday. They beat us by 3 points in the end, but it was close up to about the last week, and City did lose the final game, and they won their final game. So overall, we ended up losing by 3 points. But we'd already known by the time we won the cup final that we couldn't win the league. So we played our last game after the cup final. So probably our hearts weren't probably in it, to be honest with you, but there you go. So we finished second in Division 1. Played at Crystal Palace, and we beat Bolton Wanderers 1-0. So that's 3 points. Would have got 3 points? Yes, I would have got 3 points for that one. Question 5. We're going September 74, of course, the wonderful Alan Oakes. September 74. And of course, the manager was Tony Buck. I'll give myself 2 for that. I can't remember off the top of my head how many games Alan Oakes played. Was it about 586 or something like that? Anyway, that's the top of my head. Just having a guess at that one. Question 6. The May 1999, obviously, with the playoff final coming up at Wembley, the 2 players to feature obviously were Nicky Reid and Terry Cook. So I'll give yourself a point each for those 2. And of course, the coach was, of course, Willie Donachie. I would have had to think about it, to be honest with you, but I'm going to give myself 3. I would have got there eventually, but yeah, it's Willie Donachie. I mean, some people probably forget that. Question 7, they got obviously the pictures, the wonderful legend, one of my heroes as a boy, the wonderful Joe Corrigan. He made his debut in 1967, his first team debut in 1967. And appearances, he made 476 appearances for City. 476. So I'll give yourself 3 points. I'll give myself 2 points. I may have got his appearances. I would have probably guessed at 486, but it was 476. So I'll just give myself 2 points for that one. Right, the next one, obviously the late and great. We were playing Lech Poznan, so obviously that was the link to Kazimierz Dania, however you pronounce his first name, Kazi Dania, I used to call him. Obviously the Lech Poznan links there. Obviously the very famous Poznan as well, wasn't it? October 2010, so we're playing Lech Poznan there. And he scored 12 goals. So if you said 10, if you said 11 or 13, give yourself half a point. But he scored 12 goals in 38 appearances, which wasn't many appearances, was it? He had few injury problems, I think, etc. And of course, the film he starred in with Mike Summerby was Escape to Victory. So he was in Escape to Victory with the wonderful Mike Summerby. So another 4 points up for grabs there. I'll give myself 3. I won't say 3.5. I probably would have got his goals wrong. I would have probably said about 15 or 16 goals. So I'll give myself 3 points for that. Right, the next one, the FA Cup final against Leicester. But who did we beat in the semi-final? We beat Everton at Villa Park 1-0 with the great Tommy Booth goal quite late in the 85th, 86th minute, in the 80th minutes anyway, and that was quite a late score. And obviously the royal guest was the lovely, wonderful Princess Anne. And of course, the Leicester goalkeeper in this game was Peter Shilton. Missed out on that one. I was a bit young. Couldn't go to that one. Remember watching it on telly. That was about it. So 4 points up for grabs. How many did I get? Sorry, 5 points up for grabs. Everton 1-0, Tommy Boo, Princess Anne, Peter. Yes, I would have got all those. Give myself 5 points for that one. All right, question 10, halfway. Which player? Well, obviously, Jesus. We've got our own Jesus again now, haven't we? But Jesus Navas. That's taken from November 2014. Obviously, the manager was Mr. Pellegrini, Manuel Pellegrini. He scored 4 goals for City, just 4 goals, Navas. And obviously went back to Seville, how you pronounce it. Went back to Seville, is still there as far as I know. Jesus Navas. So how many is that? That's 4 points. I will say I wouldn't have got how many goals he scored. I would have thought he scored more than 4. So I'll just say 3. I would have known Seville. So I'll say 3 for myself there. Question 11. And we're going back to 1955 when we got beat, of course, by Newcastle in the 1955 FA Cup final. We got beat by Newcastle 3-1. But our scorer that day was, again, a gentleman I worked with at New Smithfield Market when in the 80s, a gentleman called Bobby Johnston. He scored the only goal for City in that unfortunate defeat. So there's 2 points, Newcastle United and Bobby Johnston. I'll give myself 2 for that, yeah, obviously. When you know someone and you know the things, and you know, obviously that's a question I knew the answer to. Main Road had a nickname when it was first built in the 20s. And yes, it was called the Wembley of the North because of its large capacity. They had wanted it to be 110,000 capacity at one stage pre-planning, but that was like before the wartime. Obviously, with the war that ended in 1918, obviously they revised the plans a little bit, but hey, it was still massive, wasn't it? It still had an estimated capacity of 90,000, although only 86,000 was recorded as the highest, obviously. And when it finished, when we left Main Road, its capacity was stated as 35,150 was the approximate capacity of it. So that was what it held. So from 84,000 down to 35,000, not bad, is it? And of course, we moved from Hyde Road to Main Road. So 3 points up for grabs. Yeah, I'm fairly sure I got all 3 of those. That wouldn't have been a problem. The Manchester City Social Club, I mean, I know, listen, if you watch any of my past vlogs, you'll know it as well. The famous ex-player who managed the club for almost 25 years was, of course, the wonderful Roy Clark, who I met many times as well in the 70s and 80s. Mr. Roy Clark. And question 14. So we went on to the Kippax last stand, didn't we? The clue was in there. Look, we played Chelsea. It was, of course, the 1993-94 season. It's 30th of April 1994. This is the programme from the last game. Special souvenir edition, Kippax last stand. I've got a few various things in my memory boxes for this one. And Chelsea, it was a 2-2 draw against Chelsea on that day. That's the last part of the question, wasn't it? A 2-2 draw against Chelsea. I didn't ask you that. If you knew the score was Walsh and Russell, you don't get any bonus points if Walsh and Russell scored for City. But 2-2, 1993-94 season. And of course, the manager then, 93-94, was Brian Horton. Mr. Brian Horton was the manager. So how many points for that one? Let me have a look. Would I have known the year? Yes, I would have known the year. Would I have known we drew with Chelsea 2-2? Not particularly. So I'm just going to give myself 2 points out of 4 on that one. I would have known Brian Horton in the year. That's about it. Question 15. City lost to Everton in the FA Cup final in 1933, but won the following season in 1934. So, yes, we beat Portsmouth by 2-1. So if you said Portsmouth 2-1, give yourself 2 points, which I will do because I knew that. And question 16 went to January 1991. Of course, the player in the wonderful kit there, the white top, of course, is the wonderful David White. Manager of City, obviously, was Mr. Peter Reid in 1991. And, of course, Clive Allen joined City from Bordeaux and then moved on to Chelsea. He wasn't at Chelsea very long, but he moved on to Chelsea from City. So he joined from Bordeaux and moved to Chelsea. Again, I'll give myself 3. I wouldn't have known the Bordeaux. I did know he went to Chelsea. Right, question 17. In 1970, City did the first European and English League Cup double. Of course, it was the League Cup and the Cup Winners' Cup, and we won both finals by 2-1. So your point for the League Cup, point for the Cup Winners' Cup, European Cup Winners' Cup, and a point for 2-1. So being an old bugger like me, knowing this stuff, yes, I'll give myself 3 for that one. Question 18, March 1985. So we've got a wonderful Cannon League Division 2, haven't we? March 1985. There's great stuff. And obviously the manager then was Billy McNeill, obviously a famous Scottish manager. So Billy McNeill, you should have guessed that because I did say Scottish manager. And obviously the brothers, I don't want any wags out there saying things like it's the Futcher brothers or anything like that, you know, behave yourselves. Of course, it was Darren and Jason Beckford. Absolutely fantastic pair. It's nice to have brothers playing, isn't it? It's won't be the last probably. One day, you never know. And you got the Brightwells, didn't you, as well? But yeah, the wonderful. Didn't play that much for us, did they? Certainly Jason didn't play of many games, but he did play in the first team, as did as Darren, of course. Back to 1985. And the last 2 questions. Question 19. The Etihad, when it's built for the Commonwealth Game, had a total capacity of 41,000. I wouldn't have got that. I thought it was about 35,000. But with the seats at the end, they built the seats at the end. Obviously pushed up to 41,000, so I wouldn't have got that. Cost 92 million, 102, 112, 122, 112 million. I did actually know that figure, 112, so I would have guessed at that. So give yourself a point for 112, give yourself a point for 41,000. If you said 39 or 42,000, give yourself half a point. And the approximate capacity when it converts to a football stadium was, of course, 48,000. We had as many as 47. 400, 500, 600 and something like that. I think the most we ever got in it, but obviously it was 48,000. But if you said 47 or 49,000, give yourself half a point. But the football capacity was 48. And of course, the sculpture that was taken down in 2009, and some of it apparently still in storage, I believe. Or, you know, they sold a lot of it for scrap, obviously. It was the B of the bang, obviously. So 4 points, 41,000, 112 million to build. 48,000 when it's converted initially to the football stadium. Of course, it's a lot bigger now. And B of the bang was the sculpture at the far end near the South Stand, between the South Stand and Mary D's. 4 points up for grabs. How many of those would have got? Well, I would have got the Commonwealth Stadium wrong, but I would have got the other 3. So I would have got 3 for that. 3 out of 4, which isn't bad, is it? And finally, the managers. Here we go. In the 80s, City had 7 managers. So did you manage them? I'll be honest with you, I probably would have got 5. I would have got 5 out of the 7, to be honest with you. So we had 79 to 80, so he was there in 1980. Malcolm Allison, who obviously took over from Malcolm Allison, was John Bond from 1980 to 83. John Benson had a stint in 83, very brief, but then obviously Billy McNeill, we talked about before, took over from 83 to 86. Then we had Jimmy Frizzell from 86 to 87, and Mr. Mel Machin from 87, 89. We all remember the Demolition Derby.
And of course, to finish from 89, he did stay till 91, but obviously 89 part of the 80s. Bridesmaid, we're the bridesmaid, aren't we? Not the bride, or was it the wife and the mistress? We were the mistress. I'm not sure now. Mr. Howard Kendall, anyway. Manchester City was obviously Everton was his. Basically, all he was saying was Everton was his first love, and City was his sort of his second love. But hey, didn't love us enough to stick around, did he? But how things may have been different. So that's 71 points. Now let's top up what I've got. Let you top up what you've got. So I've got a total of 59, which is pretty good going. So allowing for thinking that I know answers and I don't know answers, I would say anywhere between 55 and 59 I would have got. I've tried to be as honest as I can and accurate with the scores. Please let me know in the comments what you get, or on Twitter at nostalgia_movie. Just go on there and post your scores and I'll stick them on here. I hope you enjoyed that. It was good fun. And we'll do more in the future, and obviously not every month, but every couple of months I'll try and do. If they're popular, if you like them, obviously it's just part of the cities and past stuff. So obviously I'll always come up. There's plenty, so many questions I have to answer. I mean, 71 points. I mean, if you got over 59, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I mean, if you score 20, so what? It's fun, and obviously a lot of you. Obviously the younger players obviously are going to struggle, but some of your older guys like me, you should be up there. Should be up there in the 40s at least if you're as old as me. But as I say, my memory's going as it is, so I've got all my memory boxes and I've been redoing them lately. So it's probably given me a few help, a bit of help when I've been redoing my boxes and looking at old things. So that's probably helped my score along. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please push your subscribe button, push the bell notifications. Give me a follow on Twitter at nostalgia_movie. I follow everyone back on there. And obviously I'm on Facebook at Bernard Deneen with links to Movie Game. Nostalgia.com, which is my website for DVDs, posters and board games. Have a look on there if you get a chance. It's always great. And if there's anything you're after on that in that genre, just let me know. And if I haven't got it, I can try and get it for you all, point in the right direction. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Over 40 minutes, went on a bit longer, but 20 questions, a lot of answers. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Whatever you're going to do with the rest of your day, have a great one. Look after yourself, look after your friends, and especially look after your family. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.